Salut YouTube. On continue le chapitre 5 d'Umineko. 5, 5, en sachant que ça va être une session un petit peu courte parce que j'ai une journée assez chargée et que je jouerai plus demain. Voilà. Et là on va avancer tranquillement. On avait une épitaphe en train d'être résolue là. It seems we managed to make it through the first day. Next week will be seen in the studio. When she murdered her, I thought to herself, glowed butterflies appear and form the shape of a person. We mustn't let our guard down. I can't imagine we'll last through tomorrow if we simply sit around here. So, as I suspected, simply saying Farther is in a bad mood and refuses to come out wouldn't be enough to deceive them completely. Indeed. It seems last year left them quite suspicious. Because of that, the toxin has expanded and is coiling itself around the studio, growing even tighter. I imagine it goes beyond mere suspicions raised last year. That's right. The toxin has grown too thick to be explained away by that alone. Someone must have suspected Kinzo-sama's death since last year and is strongly intent on exposing that secret at this year's families conference. Does that mean we didn't have them fully deceived even a full year ago? Unfortunately, it's probably best to assume that, given our current situation, the typhoon will remain here tomorrow and the boat will not come for them until the day after. In short, we must endure for another 36 hours at the very least. It may not be visible to your eyes, Natsui, but the closed room barrier sealing this room was once very firm. Tonight, however, it has been worn down almost to the point of crumbling like dry leaves awaiting a windstorm. Now the storm is already here. Natsui-sama, I propose that we switch from the closed room barrier to something else. What do you mean by that? You're suggesting we change our plan? That is correct. Virgia-sama and I will reconstruct a barrier similar to last year's. In other words, we'll take Kinzo out of the studio and have him tightrope walk from shadow to shadow, where a toxin can't reach, just like last year. It may be dangerous, but I would like to second the proposal. Is this a joke? Do you truly intend to change the plan this far in? When one realizes they can't withstand the siege, they must consider the option of abandoning the castle. Right now this room is like a castle, surrounded by enemy troops with its wall about to crumble. If staying put means certain death, then you also have the option of riding out for one last stand and an honorable defeat. After all, surrender doesn't seem to be an option in this fight. I protect Father's secret until the very end. If it's discovered, we'll have no chance to talk our way out of it. My husband's embezzlement will be exposed to the light of day, and the Yoshimura family's honor will be destroyed. We must remain firm and prevent that no matter what may happen. Calm down, I understand you. Process alchemy will soon yield great results. If we can just make it through this year, we'll manage. So don't get flustered. But we use this strategy precisely because we wouldn't be able to pull off the same trick as last year, right? Isn't it the height of stupidity to return to a plan you previously abandoned because it was impossible? Just what sort of plan could we hope to make at this point? Ronovel and I will prepare one. Leave it to us, for creating illusions is what witches do. All you have to do is give us your permission, Natsui-sama. Teacher and Ronovel are quite reliable at times such as these, and the servants of the One-Winged Eagle are top-notch furniture. Once Teacher and Ronov rebuild the magic we need, I imagine the servants will work hard to protect it. It still isn't too late. Let's take Kinzo out of the studio and make that illusion walk around. Forget we chose our current strategy because we considered a plan like that and couldn't find anything that will work. It would be the height of foolishness to get flustered in emergency and carelessly throw away our primary plan. But Natsui-sama, I stand there amidst the toxin. You must realize better than anyone else that we will no longer be able to outlast the siege. I propose that we try and think of another plan without changing our objective of holding the fort. In any event, as long as we keep this room sealed, no one will be able to deny Fazo's existence. After all, one cannot determine the contents of a cat box that no number of people could ever hope to open. Well, that may be true, but humans are capable of defying reason. It's possible for them to eat into an airtight cat box and go inside like black ants closing in one box of cake. The Bern Castle's piece also worries me. To was fortunate that Erika-sama stole the show at tonight's dinner. By doing that, she created an atmosphere in which it was possible to close down the family conference for the night. If you all had returned directly to the family conference as usual, the barrier might have broken tonight. However, it also made the toxin grow even thicker. Et oui, le faux gaming. Bah, c'est du pur gaming là. Whether we continue to hold on the fort or not, we will not make it through tomorrow unless we prepare a new strategy and a new barrier. Vas-y, vas-y, l'heure que bien. À part qu'on aura la reveal monstrueuse dans 1 heure. Je dis ça parce que vu qu'il y a des reveals monstrueuses toutes les heures, bah... c'est facile à deviner quoi. We can take that piece called Erika lightly. Come to think of it, that man who mentioned taking revenge for the events of 19 years ago might also be a piece of Lady Bernacastel's. This board achieved equilibrium with 18 pieces, but now it has a 2 undesired piece added to it. There are too many irregularities this year. Lady Bernacastel is a fan of instant things. In shogi or Japanese chess, aren't you allowed to drop pieces in during a game? Yes, that is possible. Even the act of dropping a queen from the capture pile right in front of the enemy king is a knowable trump card in shogi. I wonder what that man who claimed to have a connection from 19 years ago is doing now. Is he already hiding somewhere on this island? That girl called Erika was able to appear by claiming to have drifted here. That man might also have landed somewhere on this island despite the typhoon, and he may be hiding somewhere now. And it's going to be hard to fully deceive the relatives any longer. Why? Why have so many irregular things happened at the same time? How can you explain this nightmarish miracle of coincidence? Natsui slammed the desk hard, held her head, and cringed at the pain from her overwhelming headache. Lady Berncaster controls miracles. There's no point being surprised at irregularities or miracles when she's around. While shogi is a game in which an enemy piece might suddenly appear in front of a king, for that very reason, you built up a perfect formation that won't allow for such a weakness, artistically constructing a castle around your king. Oui, ça j'avais bien compris, Kara, du coup, j'ai cette impression aussi, mais en fait c'est perturbant de voir... En fait je tiens quand même mes théories, genre je trouve pas ça bizarre pour l'instant. Je peux théoriser sur ça, tu vois, mais faudra des explications. In that case, isn't holding the fort exactly what we should be doing now? Perhaps if we had a fort we could hold, but we cannot hope for such a thing now. It's difficult to corner a king with no wall to his back, and even more difficult to corner one with open spaces in all directions. Think of a mouse. You can catch a mouse that's shut in a cage. However, catching a mouse in a field is like trying to catch a cloud. Natsui-sama, please allow us to consider this option. Then Sama will leave his studio and wander around the mansion on a whim, avoiding the gaze of the relatives. We will think of a natural seeming plan for this by morning. Don't you see the danger? If we're willing to consider such a dangerous option, won't it be better to continue acting as though father is in the room in a bad mood? Tomorrow the relatives will crowd around the studio once again. They'll be right on the other side of that single door. When that happens, just how long do you intend to make it seem like they're having a yelling match with Kinzo-sama? It's impossible. And we must find some way to postpone that impossibility for 36 hours. If you tell me to do it, I will. I am Ushiromiya Natsui, the wife of the Ushiromiya family head. If you tell me to do that, I will act out a shooting match with father for as many days as it takes. Even Natsui realized that she could never manage it, but she no longer saw any chance of victory from a plan that involved an illusion of Kinzo walking around. Banging on the desk several times, with tears of rage streaming down her face, Natsui alternated between groaning from her headache and placing the blame on one thing or another. It made one feel that there must be some curse that made anyone who sat in the chair act that way. Ce qui est bien, c'est que on a eu la vision de Natsui seule, qui n'était pas en fait avec Béatrice, donc l'illusion de la sorcière la touche de plein fouet, je pense, avec tous les gens qu'elle voit. Je vois pas d'autres explications. This is like a game of matting chogi when you are on the defensive. In matting chogi, the opponent has no king, and you have no way of winning other than avoiding a checkmate for a predetermined number of moves. And to think that I must escape for a whole day and a half worth of moves, it's just too many. Don't stop thinking, don't give up. I'll listen to your complaints, so don't have a fit. Your unchecking will to overcome this trial will bring you success with certainty. That's the power of the Witch of Certainty for you. You must not lose that magical power. Bah oui, du coup, elle parle comme Burn, quoi, fatalement. Enfin, comme Lambda Delta, plutôt. C'est Lambda, quoi. You must not lose that magical power. Believe that you will overcome this no matter what. I'm sure you'll think of a brilliant plan. Therefore, you mustn't give up and you mustn't stop thinking. You're right, I understand. Only I can overcome this hardship. That is correct. Didn't Kinzo entrust you with the job of overcoming these challenges? Kinzo acknowledged that you were worthy of that responsibility. Father. Ronov will think of a move. Of course I will think as well. However, even that we cannot do without permission from our master, from you. So at the very least, don't abandon your will to fight. Don't give up. I understand, but I'm already all tired out and I can't stand this headache. Why is it that I'm crying here, all alone in this frigid studio? Why isn't my husband here for me now? Back when dinner ended, Cross claimed to be dizzy and went to bed early. Of course he has done this to get enough rest to ready himself for the long day ahead. But to Natsui right now, it felt as though he'd just gone straight to sleep and pushed the entire burden on her. However, complaining about such a thing will mean her failure as a wife. Isn't it good wife's duty to work hard and put families first, even when her husband is resting? Filled with regret even at her hunger towards her husband, unable to determine how home she should be hungry, Natsui continued to sob. If only Kinzo could just speak to her kindly at times like this. I had to search for him, but Kinzo had been nowhere to be seen in the studio for some time now. Perhaps Natsui had noticed this as well. Though she bragged that fighting alone and supporting from behind was the responsibility of a good wife, without anyone to tell her that this really was necessary, she was now so afraid that she couldn't even stop her own tears. Just as Beato was trying to think of words to console Natsui, Virgia tapped her lightly on the shoulder. Sometimes when words of consolation don't come from the mouths of the right person, they can do more harm than good. So Virgia silently told Beato that remaining silent was the best course of action for now. Hi, sorry to interrupt. I know I'm an outsider, but I wonder if you'd let me speak. Cap, please restrain yourself for the time being. Now in this room there is no distinction between outsiders, West, and the rest of us. You may speak. Thank you. Ronov said it himself a while ago. This is matting chogi who is you on the defensive. How do you lose in matting chogi? It's when your king is checkmated, right? That goes without saying, and the opponent has no king. Therefore all Natsui can do is have her king run away constantly. I see, so you're thinking of that move. Has that time already come? What do you mean? Do you mean there's some sort of move remaining to us? It's what you proposed in the very beginning, about how to hide Goldsmith's death. I'm trying to say the time's come for us to use that. You mean having him go missing? You mean to make that move right now during the family conference? That's too dangerous. Once they successfully resolve all their problems, they will have to lay Kinzo to rest, and the best way to do that was to make him disappear. One day Kinzo will go out into the forest and never return. They wouldn't be able to find him no matter how much they search, so he will be declared missing. You said it yourself a second ago, Richie. You can't catch a mouse that escaped into a field, and you can catch a goldsmith who disappeared into the forest. You plan for us to talk our way out of this like that? Use such a move now when the suspicion against us is greatest. Will be no better than committing suicide. Oh, they will probably suspect it. Such a move will most certainly lead to mistrust. However, even if they weren't to set foot in the studio, they will find nothing to aid them. It would never again be possible for them to keep Kinzo-sama pinned down, and no matter how much they suspected his death, they will be unable to prove it. Forget about a mere 36 hours, you'll be able to protect Kinzo's secret forever that way, right? Of course, you also have to bear an appropriate risk. If you make that move, you may be able to overcome this particular challenge, but you cannot even guess at how much prestige you might lose for it. Even so, it's a move that will most certainly overcome our current challenge. Of course, you'll then have to face an ever-growing suspicion, but you won't die. Yes, it may be true, but during the Great Counter-Earthquake, the Ushima family should have died. However, the mad genius Goldsmith revived it so splendidly that it's not something you deserve to protect. So this time it is up to you and your husband, the new head and his wife, to do the same. Oh pétard! Oh, is that how you intend to stir her up? I'm not stirring her up. I'm just asking if she's prepared to be the wife of the head. Are you prepared to protect the Ushima family, even if you end up getting dragged through the dirt to do it? I am prepared. Then now is the time. If you can survive by being dragged through the dirt, then crawl with all your might. You will inch your way through this world of suffering, and eventually you will rest out that glory. I, Gap, the 33rd rank, promise you this. Cap. The fact that I came to play at a time like this must be a sign from the gods of happenstance. I'll keep this promise, assure me Anatsu. I require nothing in return. Richie, the home serves you, has already paid me plenty in advance. Cap may have seemed irresponsible, but she actually possessed a strong sense of duty. She was the kind of person who just couldn't leave someone in trouble alone. Payment in advance? Oh, when did I do that? I have no memory of such a thing. Oh, I just mean those magical items you couldn't remember where you put. I made off with quite a few of them. What? So that was you doing after all? Give him back. Give back my illusionary silver crystal and moonstick. I still haven't played around by sticking them together yet. That's the sort of magic and strategy you can expect from me. I can hide goldsmiths away in the world when no one will be able to find them. Let me know the instant you need that magic. Until then, feel free to think of another, safer plan. True. Having alternatives is beneficial for your peace of mind, and without that you'll never think up a brilliant plan. Natsui-sama, we have quite some time remaining on tonight. Let's leave Cap's strategy as a final trump card and iron out a plan of our own for now. Please give us permission, and please give us the trust, magical power and absolute conviction we'll need to succeed without fail. C'est donc elle qui vole les chaussettes dans les lave-linges. C'est dommage, elle vole pas de vêtements pas aguicheurs, quoi. Avec tout le respect, bien sûr. If you have faith, I will make your dreams come true. If you succumb to doubt, then I will make those nightmares come true. I must build your own future. Kinzo will disappear. And right in the middle of this family conference, such a move truly will be a last resort. Burying this final trump card in her heart, Natsui decided that she will grope around for a different plan until the last second. After all, this long night has only just begun. Baron Castle and her piece had just as long to prepare as Natsui did. Gouge the foot and kill, and that completes it. I see, so that's really what was gouge meant. Once again, my reasoning was correct. C'est plus d'arranger Kinzo. The feel of it this time was quite different from the previous times. I saw some sort of device as activated. However, as far as a quick glance could tell, there was no dramatic change, such as an entrance or some sort of opening. Apparently, they would need to do just a little more before they could find it. Ça va, les cheaters là. Les deux cheaters là. On vous voit les deux cheaters. Incredible. Where to find the gold, we'll have to split it together. Enjoying the intellectual simulation is enough for me. The only thing I like is solving riddles. The only reward I need is proof that I was right. She shrugged it off, implying that just seeing the gold would be enough. Then she crouched down, peering fixedly at the lock mechanism. It is definitely no mistake. To say this girl really loves solving riddles. For her, treasure hunting is all about the delicious process of exposing secrets, so she had no interest whatsoever in getting the treasure for herself and becoming a billionaire. I see. Pretty cocky of you, setting up a device like this. The mistake you all made was letting me on this island in the first place. Simply by the existence of the epitaph in that place, this level of reasoning is possible for Frodo Erika. What do you think, everyone? As she said this to the No Explorers contraption, she grinned. Her smile was triumphant, but it was more fully characterized by the small bit of unpleasant disdain contained within. After solving the riddle, she was probably reveling in the pleasure of having once again the world when proposed it, and she enjoyed her ability to scoff at this person now. If we find the gold now, the successor won't be Croissant, but you? Hey, well, I wonder. Isn't Croissant kind of arrogant? I might even call him a braggart. It'll be pretty amusing to see him boast the gold in his position as the successor to his nephew in the course of a single night, won't it? Erika was still crouched down as she spoke, her back to Butler as she toyed around with the device. Jessica's son was her name, right? The girl who talked back to me. Yeah. Yuri was acting big about her father being the successor. When she wakes up tomorrow and learns that you've inherited all the gold, and that her father's no longer the successor, I wonder what kind of expression she'll have on her face. I got no intention of keeping that 20 billion to myself. Well, if I got even 10%, that'd be as much as I could handle. We can split the rest fairly amongst the family. I'm even less interested in being the successor. I'd be glad to let Uncle Gross deal with that. Will you really be able to settle things that easily in the end? Well, rather than trying to make guesses about that, I imagine it'll be more fun to guess at the expression Jessica-san wears tomorrow, and what kind of sad excuses she'll try to make. Bah, c'est ce que je pensais. Quand elle a dit everyone, en mode elle parlait au bâton. Depuis le début, Bernd Castel, elle adore faire ça, mais j'ai cru comprendre qu'elle parlait à nous, quoi. Après, elle parle aussi d'épisodes, elle parle aussi de... Enfin, elle est très... elle est très... elle est très dans le brisage, il n'y a plus trop de murs, là. You really do have a nasty personality. Oh, couldn't you reason that out from the time you learned that I liked solving riddles? I'm an intellectual rapist. D'accord. Who enjoys exposing things people try to hide, get it? The same thing goes for solving the epitaph's riddle. I bet you wanted to expose the gold grandfather worked so hard to hide. Yes, it was my goal at first, but it changed partway through. Partway through? Changed to what? I mean Jessica-san. She butted in on my reasoning, contaminating that pure and noble time. Ever since then, I've been trying to solve the epitaph so I could teach Jessica a lesson. Are you serious? I'll make all opponents surrender, no matter who they are. That is my sole pleasure. You still need me to reason it for you? Assure me that Jessica irritated me. That's why I wanted to put her in her place and decided to solve the epitaph. That's why I led to the emotion I hold now. Can you reason out what those emotions are? This time I turned my back on her in earnest. Did I get a bit too excited by this riddle solving game, letting her drive me on into something terrible? That's right, it should have been possible to reason this out. If the riddle is solved, the relatives will probably freak out about who the successor should be. That and some other will probably push for me to discover her to be the successor, and some relatives not thrilled with that prospect will probably oppose them. Despite how adamantly Erika affirmed it, it isn't written anywhere that the one who solved the riddle of the epitaph becomes the successor. Because of this, it led to a fight between those who acknowledge the theory and those who don't. If I reason out what's happened next, as Erika did, it probably led to a messy fight between Uncle Cross and the rest of the relatives. Now that I've solved the riddle, will Jessica admire me or curse me? I don't want to think about that now. Erika was still mumbling. Apparently she had already started trying to reason it out. As I began to feel very bad, I vaguely gazed out into the black night. Ho ho ho. 2 secondes, 2 secondes. Deux petites secondes, hein. J'arrive, hein. Excusez-moi, j'envoyais quelques MP pour un petit tournoi. J'arrive. Excusez. Hop, pardon, me revoici. Désolé, j'étais en discussion pour un petit tournoi. C'est bon. Pardonnez-moi cette interruption. Hop, boum bam boum. On y retourne. At that time I looked at the dim outer light, and I saw the silhouette of a person in front of it. I thought I must be seeing things. After all, it was unthinkable that someone could have been standing there in this whole time, pounded upon by the rain without even an umbrella. However, the silhouette didn't move an inch, and maybe, no, it couldn't be. It was looking at me. It was... Oh, d'accord. D'accord. Ok. Je vais pas essayer de théoriser ou de croire ou de pas croire. Je vais juste jouer, je pense. Je suis fatigué. Grandfather. At that moment, I understood. Grandfather's probably been watching us solve the riddle this whole time. And he watched as we spectacularly solved the whole thing. Without a doubt, there was a faint smile on Grandfather's face. Grandfather, who had never worn anything except moody and threatening expressions, looked me in the eye and smiled at me for the first time. At once as though he was saying, "Oh, impudent," or else, "I never thought it would be you." However, this is still the result that grandfather's epitaph chose, so I'm sure he accepted that result. In the end, he grinned one more time. Of course, he didn't use words. His smile seemed to be wordlessly saying, "Well done." I didn't know how I should respond. I couldn't do anything but stand there in shock, ignoring Erika as she crouched down, mumbling with her back towards me. Then grandfather stretched a hand out from the fold of his cloak and pointed at something. When I looked in that direction, the thing he was pointing at was probably the signpost to the Golden End. Mais là, Natsui, c'est plus du full copium, là, c'est... C'est du copium blindé, genre. Go, I'm sure grandfather said that one word. I nodded to show that I understood. After watching that, grandfather nodded back, satisfied. Then, with a spin of his cloak, he disappeared, seeming to melt into the darkness. The expression on his face at the end was a smile that was, for the first time, truly satisfied. "Are you listening, Butler-san? Did you hear my reasoning?" I found it. That's the signpost to the Golden End. Huh? Oh, it's facing a different direction than it used to. I see. So it means go that way. You've got some pretty good powers of observation. Grandfather told me about it. Huh? Kinzo-san? Where is he? I'm going. Let's have a look at what you're showing us. Just what is this Golden End? We started to walk. The entrance to the Golden End was right there. So my epitaph has finally been solved, and it was Butler who did it. Wonderful, couldn't be better. When I think about it, I was also ahead that no one saw coming. How amusing that the one to succeed me is just as surprising. I have no more regrets in life. Beatrice, I am coming to join you, along with the present, the miracle chosen by my epitaph. Butler of all people, that Butler. At the very, very end of my life, I have seen a true miracle. Beatrice, I won this bet. En fait, ce qu'on voit, c'est de la fille, c'est moi qui suis en pur copium là. Y a rien qui va, genre. Eh oui. Yahoo! Except for its non-corrosive properties, there's no practical way to turn gold into money. I imagine it'd take a lot of work to exchange all of this for cash. At the end of it, on saura jamais où ils vont pour le trouver, l'or. Il y a aucune indication. Hein. At the end of a crude underground tunnel, in a VIP room so beautiful it seemed improper, was a pile of gold so large that there could be no doubting it 20 billion yen worth. Erika was calm, but Butler couldn't suppress his excitement. Asked her which of the two was the correct reaction to show after seeing a mountain of gold. Only those who saw the scene what their own eyes could say for sure. In this day and age, it said that an average salaryman earns about 200 million years in wage over his life, and this is 20 billion years worth of gold. With even 100 of this gold mountain, a single human could live their entire life without working. What is labor? Isn't it the very point of a human's life, since a person who doesn't work cannot eat? Ça va les capitalistes là. If so, then 200 million yen is enough to make a single person's life complete. And this is 20 billion yen. This will account for the labor of 100 human, no, a single human life 100 times over. Wait. Of course, if you still wanted to work, you could, and money you gained at the result could be used to play with. After all, you already have enough money to live for your entire life, no, for eternity. No, wait, I mustn't keep it all to myself. I can split it up amongst 100 people. If I could create a world where a full 100 human wouldn't have to work for their whole lives, just what kind of world would that be? Yeah, there's no doubt at all. The Golden Land. There you go. Baron Butler magnificently discovered the gold. Congrats! I had her hide the more central parts of it, but what's wrong with being just a little mean, right? Beato faisait pareil, on sait toujours pas comment ils y vont en fait. Ça m'énerve. Sure, do that as much as you like. I'm not interested in the micro details, but what kind of riddle it was or what kind of answer it had. The important thing is that as a result, the 10 tons of gold was discovered. The gold was discovered in the third game as well by Aunt Eva. Aunt Rosa also witnessed it. However, the two of them hadn't spoken of the gold discovery to anyone. In other words, there was a chance that the gold discovery was a catbox truce kept between the two of them. More specifically, it was possible the gold didn't exist and was just an illusion. C'est vrai aussi, on n'y pense pas, mais... However, I have finally found it. The catbox has been opened. It'd be a waste of time to do that repeated game, so I'll give you a little bonus. This mountain of gold is real. Wow. Ok, donc là, oui, y a pas de... Ok. Y a pas de doute, c'est bien. All of the ingot pills appear real, pure gold. There are absolutely no tricks such as replicas or fakes. Okay, got it. I accept that as gold exists. However, there are still some things I can't accept. Of course. You met with him, didn't you? With Kinzo. Even though Kinzo supposedly an illusion, you met with him just a second ago, right? I guess that really was magic, wasn't it? Ridiculous. I didn't exchange any words with grandfather. Merde. Only felt that the grandfather and I had exchanged words. Give it a rest, the same move won't work again. In that case, you blew truce, if you please. I was probably in an excited state after solving the epitaph's riddle. Then I mistook something for grandfather. For example, maybe there was some kind of sheet or cover that has gotten caught in the dark grove of trees, which looked like grandfather wearing a pitchback cloak. As a result, I mistaken through that I had some sort of conversation with grandfather. Blue truce, valid. Well, I did say the exact same things in blue. So did it work? Where's your contour with the red truce? I have none. At least not now, okay? The me who'd let out a strange yell in front of the Golden Mountain was finally starting to regain his cool. Now that we've found it, there's no covering it up. I vaguely considered keeping this discovery a secret. However, Erika wanted to prove that her own reasoning was correct by announcing this to everyone. Here is an intellectual rapist. C'est just as she says. Peut-être un autre, il y a peut-être une autre forme de le dire, quoi. Peut-être. The puzzle-solving game is what's important to her, and she doesn't intend to take any responsibility for what happens after the riddle is solved. A riddle is sort of like a lock. A lock exists to be locked, and they're only significant when they're locked. Therefore, it ought to be essential to have some goal in mind when exposing such a thing. However, to this girl, the act of exposing it itself her final goal, and she has no intention of taking responsibility for anything that happens later. Maybe the true storm to Rokajima isn't a typhoon but her. He won't keep this discovery secret. Je fais danser, hein. She'll definitely announce it so she can brag about her success. Then she'll call a rare storm down upon this island. I won't be able to keep this covered up. In that case, there's nothing to do but announce this fact fairly to all. I can't imagine what happened after that. As she grinned, Erika muttered to herself. She might have been anticipating the uproar that the relatives would soon bring about. To her. I'm only imagining that it was far sweeter than 20 billion yen in gold. Ah oui, c'est vrai. C'est avec Deep Blue Jar, ouais, c'est vrai. Mais en vrai, elle aussi, c'est une illusion de la sorcière, donc... en quelque sorte. Anyway, the existence of the epitaph in that place. This level of reasoning is possible for Furudo Erika. What do you think, everyone? Ladies and gentlemen! Regarde-moi, regarde-moi, Erika. Regarde-moi. Vas-y, continue à me regarder. C'est un duel entre toi et moi. C'est même pas entre Battler et toi, c'est entre toi et moi. Regarde-moi. Knock, knock, knock. The sudden sound of someone banging fiercely on the door brought Natsui to her senses. She had probably nodded off in the studio while planning what they will work on the next day. But what could it be? At a time like this... More importantly, the knock itself was strange. If someone wanted to contact her, they could just use the internal phone line. She told them that she'd be here. Realizing that something strange was going on, Natsui shook her head one more time, completely throwing off her drowsiness. Father, it's Eva. I have an urgent, vital matter to discuss with you. It was Eva's voice. What is this? I told them to lock the doors and windows of the mansion tightly after everyone left for the guest house, so why is Eva here? Natsui ran up to the door, responded with a small knock, and spoke through the door in a quiet voice. What is it? You're too noisy. Natsui-Nissan, why are you in father's studio at this hour? I told you to be quiet. Have you forgotten that the head values peace and silence more than anything else? Now is not the time to be saying that. Stop harping on that and open up quickly. Bring father out. The head just went to sleep. I don't know what business you have, but I will deal with it tomorrow. I don't have any business with you. Just open up right now. Sometimes multiple schemes and assumptions can fall apart due to the most direct, simple and emotional of strategies. This is bad. If I open the door, Eva will probably throw herself forward and rush into the studio. No, I can't even open this door. That moment the phone suddenly rang. It's okay, bust up the keys to the studios are here. No one can open this door. Natsui inched away from the door and grabbed the receiver. Hello, it's Natsui. It's me. Things are bad. I want you to come down to the parlor quickly. It was from Cross. His tone was strained. What in the world happened? It would seem that Battlecon and his guest called Erika solved the witch's epitaph and found the gold. Huh? Is that true? Rudolph and the rest have forced their way in. They're saying Battlecon will show everyone the way to the hidden gold. Right now, Eva-san is just outside the studio door, yelling at me to open it. But if I do that now, she might push her way inside. I understand, I will go there too. Don't worry about Eva. Just stay there and don't do anything. I'll give you a signal once I've gotten Eva away from the door, so leave as soon as you heard that. Ready? Right after that, Cross came up the staircase accompanied by Genji. A heated debate started between him and Eva. Open up, no, calm down. In the middle of that, there was a small knock as a signal. Cross had cleverly pushed Eva away from the door and distracted her. During that gap, Natsui slipped out of the studio and quickly shut the door. Eva noticed this and her face twisted in disappointment. The heavy sound of the autolock had already rung out and the door had been sealed. The gun of the epitaph has been found. It's unnatural that we should inform father about this. Or else what? Is there some reason you can tell father about this? Father gave strict order that he not be awakened, no matter what, after he went to bed. Following those orders is the duty of the head's representative. Isn't that right, Genji-san? Yes. The master's sleep must not be disturbed, no matter what happens. Even a rule like that depends on time and circumstances, doesn't it? I mean, the epitaph was solved. Father has a right to know straight away. Of course, the two of us will report on everything to the head tomorrow. That's our duty as the head's representatives. I don't care about that. Come on, just open this door. Let me see father. Father, can you hear me? It's Eva. Please open up. Oh, let go of me. That hurts. We're telling you to listen to us. Don't knock on the door so loudly. Ouch. Whoa. Let go of me. For Sama, Eva-sama. The master is sleeping. Please refrain from disturbing him any further. When Genji spoke firmly, the two finally ceased their scuffle. It seemed that Genji, the one who had spoken for Kinzo since they were very young, still possessed an air of dignity strong enough to handle both Cross and Eva. Eva put her argument aside for the time being. She could off worrying about that until after she saw the gold with her own eyes. After all, not even Eva had seen it for herself yet. Natsui, on the other hand, managed to somehow deal with the momentary crisis. However, the move of the demons that would sneer upon their efforts had already begun. Battle solved the riddle, the epitaph, you say? Yes, Celsi had a lot of help from that Erika girl. Battle was the one who reached the answer. Erika has proclaimed that she will abandon her rights to the Golden End. Therefore, the one who reached the Golden End is Battler. It can be truly amusing to think that Battler somehow... C'est là qui me fait penser qu'il y a toujours une histoire d'alter ego et d'alter chemin, quoi, parce que la Golden End, ça peut être vu comme ce qu'on a vu à la fin du chapitre 3, comme juste aller alors à Okejima, quoi. C'est pour ça que je tiens toujours à cette théorie au fond de moi. I feel too better. She promised to stop the ceremony if anyone solved the epitaph's riddle. Yes, that was the deal. That was the deal indeed. Apparently, Battle-sama does not intend to become the master of the Golden Land. It now seems that no one will become our master. That is also fate. It has been several decades since we first manifested in the human world through our bond with Lord Goldsmith. The time since then has been so very fun. Come on, Leah, you sound like an old lady. So what are we going to do? If we go by Richie and Goldsmith's rules, now that Battle has solved the epitaph and decided not to become our master, we've been relieved from duty, right? That's true. I have no regrets at all. I've been prepared to be kicked down into cocktews all this time. Wait, we can't let that happen. You might not have any regrets, but I will keep on serving Natsui. It would be quite irresponsible to let ourselves be relieved from duty just because Battle has solved the epitaph. Witches are forbidden from breaking contract, but they also must not fail to show gratitude. True, we should serve her until the family conference ends. In that case, you won't be relieved from duty for a while either, Lord Goldsmith. Perhaps you should wait until you overcome this family conference safely, said goodbye to Natsui-sama at the very least, and if possible, reward her for all her efforts. Indeed, she has done well supporting my foolish son. Your fallen angel with one of its wings plucked off, aren't you? Just leave the other wing as a parting gift and go. Indeed, perhaps that would be fitting. Natsui may be worthy of bearing my wing. Natsui dans son crâne, hein. Natsui folle dingue dans son crâne, hein. However, we are approaching the critical moment. Your reward is waiting for you. Try to make it through this test unscathed, Natsui. The mountain of gold left everyone speechless. Regardless of how strongly they believed it in existence, no one could look at this much real gold and be shocked. To think a place like this existed? I can't believe it. That. Everyone was stunned by the gold. The first one to break the silence and jump around in ecstasy was Hideyoshi. Letting out an excited laugh, he clung to the wall of gold. Then he felt the cold, hard touch of it all over his cheek. Wow! This is incredible! It's a real thing! That damn dad of ours, taking this much gold in such a ridiculous place. Now that we have this much, we no longer have anything to fear. Why is this we could overcome any kind of trial? Rosa? Nissan, we'll be able to find happiness with this, right? Eva and Rosa moved toward each other at the same time and Egda that broke down crying. Ecstasy and shock, wonder and sight. After stepping forward in front of the pile of gold that has caused us mixed emotions, Erika spoke as though she were an announcer in some show. If this word is money, then this gold is the embodiment of happiness. Congratulations, everyone. I pray that this discovery makes all of your lives richer. I take my hat off to you. You think you'd solve the epitaph within a single day of coming to this island? If you couldn't solve it in a single day, then you wouldn't be able to solve it no matter how many days you had. However, it doesn't take more than an instant for a little grey cells to give you a flash of intuition. Also, I wouldn't have been able to solve this riddle myself. I ask that you praise Battle-san's achievement as well, everyone. I abandon any race to the discovery. I'm already satisfied to have my reasoning proven correct. so I'd like to give Battle-san full credit. I may be here, but please continue your discussion as though I wasn't. Battle-san called all these adults here, making sure that none of the Quizmans will notice. That can only mean one thing. He must have wanted to begin the true family conference with all of you. Erika. Quit deciding things on your own. My apologies. In that case, I'll step down as the facilitator of these proceedings. So, who will take my place? Shrugging, Erika looked around at everyone. After a short period of silence, Eva made the first move. None of us have forgotten the deal we made earlier today, right? Yeah. Divided between the four of us with 2.5 billion for each. And then the successor gets another 10 billion. Wait a second, who decided that the one who discovers the gold will become the successor? Hold up, you won't be able to get away with that, Natsui-san. We've all been arguing based on that premise this whole time, haven't we? You really think you can pretend that never happened now? That's right. Weren't you the one worrying about how, if one of the servants solved the riddle, they might consider themselves the successor? And now where is it explicitly written that that's the truth, right? You bastard. We're all aware of it, weren't we? That's right, Aniki. Are you gonna change your position this late in the game? This was never stipulated, I believe it was common knowledge between us. I don't see how you can suggest we ignore it completely. You can just interpret the head's epitaph however you like. Where is it written that the one who finds the gold becomes the successor? Et c'est là où les meurtres vont devenir humains. Maintenant, genre. Maintenant. Parce qu'ils vont tout perdre, Natsui et Kroos. Affaire classée, en fait. The epitaph was decided upon by the head. You have no right to decide this thing for yourselves. Calm down, Natsui. How could I calm down? Yes, I do find it quite impressive that Butler could solve the epitaph. I certainly believe he should be rewarded for it. However, it's clearly a stretch to suggest that he deserves half of everything, and you won't get away with the argument that the discoverer become the successor. Slow, Natsui-san. This is completely different from what you were saying earlier today. I agree. So it was never stipulated. The fact that whoever solved the epitaph becomes the successor has always been the greatest unwritten rule we've had. It's not fair if you start complaining about that at the last second, right? Yeah, it isn't fair. Anyway, this gold is Father's. We can't decide how it will be split up without Father's permission. No way, that's slow, Natsui-san. We were talking about this on and on earlier, right? Are you saying that whole conversation today was a bunch of bull? It just ain't right. Why don't we just vote on it? Matlakun, the one who found the gold, is the successor. My husband and I have no objection. What about you, Rudolph and Carrison? Rosa? No objection here. Nice going, Battler. I have no objection either. Matlakun is the true successor, chosen by the epitaph. If you aren't satisfied, then why don't we just ask Father directly? That's right. Like you just said, Natsui-san. Father is the one who wrote the riddle of the epitaph. En fait, elle va tellement se faire embarquer par sa folie, Natsui. Quand un démon dans sa tête va lui dire « Eh, là, la seule solution, c'est de les tuer, là. » C'est vraiment juste ce qui va se passer, hein. La folie dans sa tête avec les sorcières, et puis voilà, quoi. And he's also the proper owner of his gold. In that case, shouldn't we talk to Father about this directly? Or should Batlakun, the person who discovered the gold, be treated? I believe Father is the only one capable of making such a decision. But... didn't I tell you to calm down? Non mais là, vous êtes dans la merde jusqu'au cou, là. Rosa and Carrison are right. Let's ask Father. Your turn is already over, Natsui-san. Yeah, bring Father out to us. We won't get anywhere with just you two. Let's begin the real family conference. Does this look like something you can put off just because he's tired? If we take this thing lightly, we'll have a massive problem on our hands. Hey, are you listening? We won't get anywhere with just you. Bring Father out right now! Are family conferences always like this? What the hell I know. They're probably always like this on the inside. Looks like they won't be able to get this figured out right now without Kinza-san. To think he's being called out to settle this children's fight, even though it's been announced that he has only a short while to live. I wonder how he feels about now. Imagining that now, reasoning that out would be a treat. The parents ignored Butler and Erica and kept yelling at each other on and on. Even though Butler had more or less imagined that this sort of things happened behind the scenes, this was the first time he'd seen it. He'd suspected it since 6 years ago, and he'd been able to get a pretty good idea of what this was like by the darkening expression on his parents' face when this time of year drew near. However, this argument his relatives were having before his very eyes was much more ugly than he'd imagined. That's why he was very glad that he'd called the adults out here without letting the cousins catch wind of anything. Perhaps because everyone was tired out from this seemingly endless argument, they took a short break. Il n'y avait pas de break à prendre là. It was decided that this family conference inside the Golden Land should be moved over to the mansion. This place may have been gorgeous like a VIP room, but there was no heating and it was a little cold. It wasn't well suited for a long conversation. They thought of the possibility that someone might snatch the gold away while the back were turned, but of course no one could manage much with just humans and in a small amount of time when it's 10 tons of gold they're dealing with. Et là, plot twist, l'or va vraiment bouger. Et là, il va falloir deny ça. Et là... Et là, ça va être complexe. In fact, it might be said that having this mountain of gold in the background was actually robbing them of the ability to make sound decisions. So they agreed to return to the mansion in part so that they could regain their composure and continue the conference more cold-bloodedly. And if you will excuse me for the night, I imagine I'd just get in the way if I remained any longer. Sure, sorry, did it bother you too much? Let us show gratitude again tomorrow. Sorry for letting you see such an embarrassing side of us. You said that you refused, but told us to prepare a fitting portion out of gratitude for you as one of the first to discover the gold. Right, Nissan? Yes, we know what you are capable of. I think you can grasp our current circumstances. 20 billion yen in gold isn't something they wanted to in the open. They didn't want an outsider like Erica telling people about it. Of course, Erica had already reasoned out that much. She wore an unpleasant smile on her face, although she understood all too well. You don't need to worry about me. Of course, I have no desire to tell anyone else about this. And if I did, no one will believe me without proof. I got to see something interesting tonight. It was quite a spectacle, so I'm more than satisfied. I see. I guess it's not every day you see 10 tons of gold. Think the gold was a spectacle? Of course not. Judging by Erica's dark nature, it's obvious what she's so happy about. I thought about telling her just to go away, but even I wanted to get out of this place. I tried to head back in the guest house along with Erica. However, Carrie-san grabbed my shoulder. You can go, Butler-kun. Please come with us. Yes, you're no real successor. We would have an audience with father and have him acknowledge you right away. That's something only the family head may decide. Don't make things up on your own. Butler, I realize it will be pain, but stick around with us for a bit longer. Don't say anything, just stay quiet and keep your head down. Got it? Just do whatever you want. It wouldn't have been easy to say that I had no interest in being the successor, but I was sure that it would only add more oil to the fire. Even if I hadn't been ordered to keep quiet, staying shut up like a clam was clearly a good idea. In that case, wouldn't it really be so bad if you just let me go back to the guest house? Dad put his arm firmly around my shoulder, and I told him it was uncomfortable and told him to let go. However, he didn't pay attention to a word I said. I've solved the epitaph, just like you wanted. When you were to the game master, we'd always get those letters. Try and solve the epitaph. If you don't, I'll kill you all. Why did she want to make us solve the riddle of the epitaph? By solving it, we found a mountain of gold. Yippee for us. And what about Beato? Does she gain anything by having us find the gold? Or does she lose something? As far as chessboard thinking tells us, people don't ever make moves that cause them to lose something. That means you must have something to gain by having us solve the epitaph. No, this child has nothing to gain from having someone solve the epitaph. Are you sure that's okay? Using a raid like that without our permission? This child most likely wishes for it. Virgilia, who had suddenly appeared there, quickly gave an answer to my question with the red truth. In the past, I sometimes guessed that Beato tried to make us solve the epitaph. Because she wanted to make us find the gold hiding place for her, so she could snatch it away. Is that wrong, true? Yes, in the first place, the golden nun, belongs to this child. She had absolutely no need to make someone find it for her or to snatch it away herself. Of course, Beatrice the Golden. Isn't she the master of the Golden Nun and the Ushirone family alchemist? That totally makes sense. However, that makes me even more confused. Even if someone exposed the answer to the epitaph's riddle, Beato has nothing to gain. Now to the contrary, her own gold might be stolen away. In that case, I'm understanding this less and less. I understand the epitaph murders might be revenge against the Ushirome family, or as a ceremony to revive her power as a witch. After all, she's probably doing it because of some reason or goal of her own. Well, what's the point of her telling us to solve the epitaph? Whether we solve it or not, she has nothing to gain at all. In other words, the whole issue of whether the epitaph is solved or not is immaterial in Beato's eyes. You're right. Whether the epitaph's riddle is solved or not, it shall stand nothing to gain at all. It doesn't matter whether it's solved or not. In other words, could we say that the epitaph's riddle itself is immaterial to Beato? You're right. The epitaph's riddle doesn't have any meanings for the child. So even if you take it to an extreme and call the epitaph's riddle immaterial, it may not be possible to argue against your claim. Beato, why are you making us solve the epitaph's riddle? If we liken the witch you are to a pair of scales, the epitaph murders lies on one plate, and the riddle of the epitaph lies on the other plate. After all, she's saying she'll stop the epitaph murders if the epitaph is solved. In other words, the epitaph murders and the epitaph's riddle are worth the same to Beato, like two sides on a balanced scale. That means that both epitaph's riddle and massacring all the relatives are equally significant from Beato's point of view. But Georgia responded with the red truth. Regardless of whether the epitaph is solved or not, Beato has nothing to gain. If she has nothing to gain, then this epitaph's riddle is meaningless and immaterial to Beato. In that case, how much are the epitaph murders, which lie on the other side of the scales and are equal to the epitaph's riddle in value, worth to her? Don't stop thinking. The epitaph murder and solving the riddle of the epitaph have equal worth. As long as the epitaph murders, which are Beato's goal each time, have this single way that they can be stopped, a way that she decided on herself, must are worth the same thing to her. X equal Y. Y. And whether the epitaph's riddle is solved or not, Beato has nothing to gain. Y equals 0, so in this case, what is X? Wait a sec, that means the epitaph murders are also meaningless and immaterial. Every time she performs these bizarre serial murders, she is willing to spend an incredible amount of effort to politely send advance notice, and then kill us one by one in accordance with the epitaph, never getting exposed. So all of that is meaningless to her? I spent the chessboard around and searched through Beato's moves over and over. She is always the first place I stumble. The significance of the epitaph's murder. Why did she have to commit serial murders in a way that reproduces the witch's epitaph? If she wanted to kill the whole Ushirome family for revenge, it would be much simpler, safer, and more reliable if she just put poison into their dinner, or else were around killing people one by one in the middle of the night while they were sleeping. However, on the first evening, Beato sent us a letter that sounded like an advance notice, and they carried out a 3-part serial murder with large gaps in between. The 6 people of the first twilight, the 2 people of the second twilight, and the 5 people of the fourth and later twilight. We aren't fools. Once the first murder occurred, we barricade ourselves in somewhere to stay with any further murders. Furthermore, we quickly suspect the culprit Among Us. Among Us reference. And start analyzing each other's alibis. As the victims increased, the number of suspects decreased automatically, and Beato's chance of success in this serial murder dropped closer and closer to 0. All the epitaph murders are like she's strangling her own neck, making it harder to succeed in this serial murder she's attempting. All for a useless embellishment, all for just show. She's rating the difficulty of completing her own objective. As does follow, she really is a strange child. Did you know? In mystery novels they call things like this epitaph's murder plotline murders. I think you can split the possible motives for plotting murders like this into the three groups. And what are those? Well, third off, maybe following the epitaph gives rise to misconceptions about evidence and alibis, which might benefit the culprit. Pretending to be dead and mixing yourself in with the victims will fit this pattern, as will committing murders that don't actually follow the epitaph, giving yourself an alibi by getting people to incorrectly guess the order of events. I see, so perhaps she made it look like I thought she was killing them in a ceremonial fashion, following the epitaph when she was actually guiding the thinking in a manner that benefited her. I do find that intriguing. However, in our games, the dead are truly down for the count thanks to the red. While she might confuse people in the world of the game board, she can't confuse up here like that. In other words, the most obvious possible goal for her isn't the real one. In that case, what are the two possible reasons for carrying out plotline murders? Another one is coincidence. Her crime just happens to resemble the epitaph, without anyone in particular trying to make it do so, and the witnesses mistakenly think it's a plotline murder. Humans try to find cause and effects in everything they see. If we think we know what something is, then that's how it looks to us. Tiens, le fou, je sais pas si t'es là, j'ai une carte pour toi. Attends. On va te filer le Keystar. Tac. I think we know what something there is. Look to us. I see. That's intriguing too. But will that really work? In this child's game, evidence nothing of the crime is always given before the murders of the first Twilight. Also, I believe you've repeatedly found letters and some circumstantial evidence that clearly show that the culprit is carrying out epitaph murders. Yeah, that's right. It isn't coincidence. From the very beginnings, Beato been advancing with the goal of making this look like a series of epitaph murders. We weren't mistaken about that. There are clear plotline murders, so this motive, or lack of motive, doesn't work either. In that case, there's only one motive left, right? The last one is because they want to show someone something, more specifically fear. By following the epitaph, she gives the other clean notice in advance that the murder will continue. The survivor is in constant fear of the murder, which they certainly will continue. In other words, this child performed the epitaph murders to make someone feel the fear of death. Or at least, that explains things pretty well. The grotesque mutilation of corpses and the dark decoration were all shown to terrify us. To terrify whom? Huh? Well, like I said, us. After hearing that one line Georgia spoke so casually, my thought clouded over once again. It is really sufficient to use the vague word us. There are many humans in the Ushurima family. There's the head and the one who holds the rank of his successor, grandfather and Uncle Crows. There's the relative who have some pull in the business world. On the other side, you have the young cousins who usually visit at most once a year, and the unfortunate servants who just happen to be on duty that day. Even if the culprit hates all of us, there should be a clear difference in how much they hate some of us compared to others. So it should be possible to pick out people among us, that the culprit especially wanted to terrorize or have revenge against. We liken this to a kid eating dessert. Isn't the strawberry on top of a shortcake the part you should eat last? No one tells you that you shouldn't eat first, but our mentality encourages us to save it for later. In that case, the culprit will want to leave the person they hated most until the end. Toi, Battler, du coup. Like that line by my favorite character in this novel I like. Something about how the worst way to kill someone is to murder those close to them first, Make them as miserable as possible and only kill the person then. Oh my, that must have been quite a terrifying novel. Or frightening. In that case... T'inquiète pas, t'inquiète pas. On compte plus, on compte plus. In that case, you could argue that the people who stay alive until the end are the ones Beato hates the most. However, every single time the other people get killed, change around completely. If we try counting up the people who live until the last twilight, every single time, even though they do die in the end. Ah! On va enfin revenir à ma théorie d'il y a 8 ans et demi là. I'm the only one. Let me first speak with the Reds. Batlakun isn't the culprit. Batlakun didn't kill anyone. This can be said of all games. Didn't that just make it even more likely that it's me? It means the sole reason she had for bragging about the epitaph murders was to show them to me. Every time Beata brags that she chooses whom to kill next with her bullets. However, I'm the only one she never kills. So she doesn't kill me in the end. She'll leave me by end till the very last moment. In all of the supposedly random games, there are only this one's unchanging constant. She wants revenge against me. So is she performing the epitaph murder to make me feel fear? That's wrong. Her goal is not to make someone experience fear. And it isn't to have revenge on someone either. In that case, the epitaph murders really don't mean anything to her. The epitaph's ritual is meaningless, and the corresponding epitaph murder is also meaningless. Non, 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 je me ferai pas voler Gapi. Par pitié. Non, je me suis fait voler Gapi pour donner la carte à le faux, putain. Moi, je donne les cartes à tout le monde. Je suis un mec sympa. Je me fais voler... Je me fais voler, frère. Je suis en train de me faire int. as Joseph. But even so, she clearly trying to show there's meaningless things to me. What could she want from me that be worth the same to her, something meaningless? I don't get it. The more I think about it, the less I understand what she's thinking. Beatrice, the fickle witch who committed a meaningless worthless string of serial murders. Even the epitaph's riddle with that witch used as a trigger that could suspend the serial murders is meaningless, immaterial, and yet she's thrusting these meaningless, immaterial things in front of my face. What is it that you want from me? Or else what is it that you're giving me? My deed as Beatrice claiming taking revenge on me has already been denied by Virginia Red Truth. Both X and Y. Both the epitaph murder and the epitaph's riddle are no meanings for Beatrice. However, since she's thrusting those things in front of me, they must have some meaning. She showed us that K representing if you don't solve the epitaph like I wrote the epitaph murder. In other words, neither the epitaph murder nor the epitaph riddle have any significance by themselves. However, it became meaningful when she put both halves on the scale and put them on display before us. No, before me. In other words, it should be like this. X equals 0, y equals 0, x plus y equals 0. So, SK was meaningless, worthless things on both sides. However, it has weight itself and gives the rest meaning. It's almost like playing, like kids playing rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors is an extremely familiar method of randomly determining the winner and loser, with something wages and some sort of rewards out outcomes. But kids often do rock, paper, scissors just to play without betting anything in particular. Unless you bet something, you have nothing to gain or lose except happiness and frustration. In other words, the two sides on the scale, both winning and losing, are immaterial. However, the very act of seeing which way it will tip is the reason kids play rock, paper, scissors. After all, the kids are enjoying the communication that surrounds the game. And they aren't really interested in the value of winning or losing. They aren't only concerned about who wins and who loses. That winning doesn't matter to Beata, whether the epitaph murder succeeds or not. It almost feels like she's just enjoying the process. In the past, I cursed her, deciding that she was a heartless witch who kept murdering people for no reason. But right now, I can't imagine that's true. Thank you. In that case, I'll give you one more line of red. Beata never committed murder for the sake of pleasure. She didn't do it for pleasure, and she didn't do it to make anyone feel fear. Since she has nothing to gain, she doesn't care whether the epitaph murder succeed or fail. It's almost like a random game kids would play. That's not right. It does have meaning. It has meaning for her. Then what is this meaning? I don't get it. Even so both sides of the scale are immaterial, the scale itself has some weight to it in her eye. Of course it isn't meaningless. Some meanings definitely exist. In the previous game she urged me to remember my sin of 6 years ago. Am I supposed to believe that was meaningless too? No, that definitely isn't the case. I clearly remember the serious gaze Beto had back then. Unfortunately, I didn't have a clue what she meant. When she saw that, she was horribly dejected. That's right. At that time, I'm sure she even went so far as to say that the crime wouldn't have occurred if I hadn't come. It does have meaning. It means something to her, and it's connected to something she wants from me. I laughed softly and poked Beato lightly on the head, then patted her head. Next time you want to send you a love letter, I suggest you use it right, I love you. If you make it too roundabout and confusing, no one's gonna be able to figure it out. I still don't have a clue what she's thinking. Even so, I won't stop thinking. I've only just started spinning the chessboard around. I definitely won't give up on this journey in search of your thought. Oh. Atla did nothing but gaze blankly out of the window. Fighting between the relatives went on with hands. At first the relatives had crowded around the study. However, no matter how much they knocked, the master of the study did not enter even once. Eva and several others said they should open the door with the second key, the one Genji held. However, in a flash of brilliance, Natsui said that Kinzo had been in particularly bad mood and had taken back the key he'd previously given Genji, which meant that he now had both keys himself. She claimed that this was the reason she couldn't open the door. After she promised to let them meet Kinzo tomorrow morning no matter what, they finally returned to the dining hall. But of course the argument continued on even there. Eva's group needed a lot of cash very soon and they were trying to threaten Cross somehow and make him pay up. Apparently by solving the epitaph threatened Cross' position as the successor, which gave the other a powerful tailwind. Tailwind c'est vent arrière dans Pokémon. Eh oui, il faut l'avoir. But it had never been specified that the ownership of the gold would be handed over to the person who solved the epitaph. It hadn't been hidden gold, but simply Kinzo's stockpile. And it was still Kinzo's property, which meant it would naturally be distributed after Kinzo's death with the rest of the inheritance. Once they made that claim, Eva's group once again started demanding to be allowed to see Kinzo. It had probably been obvious to them from the beginning. The sibling fight could only be settled by Kinzo. It was obviously a confrontation between Eva's group, which wanted cash fast, and Gross, who was hiding his lack of fun but still didn't need Muddy right away. As he listened vaguely to this exchange, Butler marveled at how, despite their usual affluent air, they were surprisingly deep in debt. Didn't you say the same thing a short while ago? Enough, let's take a break. We're all repeating the same thing over and over again. According to the clock, it was almost midnight. It certainly was a perfect time for a break. The atmosphere relaxed just a bit. I agree. It'll be good for both sides to take a breather. Hey, why don't we start keeping a record when we start up again? I'm tired of fighting over what was or wasn't said. Seriously? We really can do without a record of proceedings? No one listened and so easily deny something it said before the words stopped reverberating off the walls? A mere written record would be a pain, and it'd be an easy target for forgery. Good point. Aniki, wanna fire this up? The tape set, is it? I see. This way you can keep a record without bothering to write it down, and forgery will be impossible. It's fair for both sides. Make sure you don't mess anything up. Those are Father's precious music tapes. The dignified tape set has a sense of weight to it that matched this majestic dining hall perfectly. On pleasant Sunday mornings, it will sometimes be used to play famous tapes or records. However, right now it was the most natural and impartial conference record keeper around. Rudolph fished randomly around the cassette rack, searching for a blank tape, and every time he found some tape with sophisticated music on it, he'd complain about how pompous it was. Pardon me. You cold? We're taking a break. Herbert, could you make us something to drink? And maybe some biscuits would be nice too. Certainly, I will see to it right away. Also, sorry, but do you have any cold medicine? I've been feeling a bit feverish. Then don't overstrain yourself. Get some sleep. If you really feel like it, why not get some sleep, Rosa? Of course I wouldn't step out of such an important conference because of a simple cold. Really? Allow me to take a rest as well. That's why don't we take a short rest too? Yes, dear. I think that he meant to have a strategy meeting, that's why he stood up. Even if that hadn't been the case, she was so desperate to get out of the room even for a moment that she'd have taken any excuses. Crossing Natsui left the dining hall, and the tension in the room truly relaxed. You've been doing great, Battlecran. I imagine you feel just horrible. Think of this was part of growing up and just accept it. Just how long am I gonna have to sit around here doing nothing? Who knows? After all, you like our portable shrine. Sleepy? How about as much as in your average school class? I'm pretty sure Father isn't going to show up tonight anyway. And cross Nissan and the rest come back, I propose that we might as well let you go. I'll be counting on you. I like the knock and the faint sound of a china clinking together could be heard. Excuse us. We brought tea. Shannon and Cannon had come by the servant cart. Pardon, j'ai pas lu ça. The pleasant smell of black tea has the effect of relieving a bit of the tension. Hey, did you hear? Hear about what? We haven't heard anything. Stop it, Rudolph. There's no reason to tell them. We're furniture, so I have no interest in matters concerning the family conference. I see. That's a wise answer. You have the midnight shift? That might be rough. That is our job. We would be happy to receive your orders. Makes sense to me. At least that'd be better as sitting around awake doing nothing. When I was still down in the bottom rungs, I once worked in a warehouse keeper. Even if you're just staying awake, it's still pretty tough. Right after the war, you had robbers all over the place. Plus, you couldn't rely on the police back then, so it was a pretty dangerous time. Yoshi was particularly proud of how it started with nothing and built up assets by illegally diverting goods from the American army. Once the subject came up, Hideyoshi tended to get pretty talkative. The relative who knew this were gladly relieved to see that the perfect sacrifice had come up. If you got found out, you were in for big time. Those American people are scary. Their strength is another league because of all of the beef they eat. If you got caught, it ends with them shooting you or death by hanging. Get it? Death by hanging. Death by glamour. Attendez 2 secondes. It's all about the meat. Japanese people gotta eat more meat. And that's when I got the revelation that I needed to start up a business to win over people's stomachs. I see, that must have been quite a difficult task. Stop it, dear. No matter how much the people born after the war, they'll never understand how we suffered back then. Oops, look like my bad habits just jump out again. Sorry. You two should have some tea as well. Every now and then, I think it might be helpful for you to use your own tongues to learn more about the tea you was brewing. No, we'll be fine. There's no need to be concerned for our sakes. Hang out with us for a bit. Being surrounded by adults make me feel like I'm gonna suffocate. Hear that? That's an order from Battle-sama, the successor. Sit over there and have some tea with us. Then you can talk about the recent events, your hobbies, TV shows you're watching, and whatever is that it's popular with the kids these days. There is a lot we could learn. That's a brilliant idea. Come you two. Come on, you two sit down too. And why don't you become sacrifices for us, now that we crave something to talk about? Bon, c'est une façon de parler, bien évidemment. That's right. I thought it would be nice to talk to some young kids, but that would be pretty hard when I'm too old even to go to a cabaret club. How long are you planning on standing around there? Rudolph told you to sit. Sit down. I give you permission as well. After getting Eva's permission, Shannon and Cannon looked at each other and finally obeyed nervously. For a while, the two were pounded that question and became the relative plaything. Then a rise of knocking sound could be heard. All of the servants tended to knock in a similar manner. So no one found it strange. However, Shan and Kenan turned around with surprised looks on their faces. The servants here today included the two of them, Genji, Kumasawa, and Goda. Goda has the midnight shift at the guest house. Kumasawa had gone to bed in a spare room in the guest house. The two of them were right here, so Genji was the only person left. But they knew very well that Genji wouldn't knock like that. Who is this? It's not locked, just come in. Rudolph didn't recognize the knock either. When he asked who is this, it became apparent that no one knew who knocked it was. After that, the same knock-knock repeated just once more. Could it be that someone there had hands full and was asking that the door be opened for them? As a slightly odd feeling began to encompass the room, the sound of the large clock in the hall could be heard. Ils ont pas exactement 6 dans la pièce là? It was a sign that October 4th has ended and October 5th had begun. Let's step back in time a bit. And this time Cross and Natsui were a ways off in the deserted corridor on the second floor. So we no longer have any other option. Yes, the same move probably won't last us all day tomorrow. If we hesitate any longer, there's a chance Eva-san and the others will call the police, claiming that we have Father locked up somewhere. This is as far as we can go. But like finding the goal was completely unexpected. If that hadn't happened, I thought of a plan which might have managed to get us through this somehow. This always happened when I bet on something. Something unexpected always happened and something that should mean that absolute certainty goes wrong. C'est l'inverse de lambda delta en fait. Let's arrange for our father's room to be empty starting tomorrow morning. Let's plan it out with Genji and have him say so father heading out into the forest early in the morning. I doubt Eva and the others will simply accept such a disappearance. I'm fully aware of that. However, we have no other option. If we do such a thing, Eva and the others will doubtless make a fuss that our action will be suspicious. They aren't worried about appearances as long as they can squeeze them some money out of us. Good world. They aren't worried about appearances as long as they can squeeze some money out of us. My up in some magazine and cause serious damage to the confidence placed in me. Damage is something we can live with, right? If by any chance Faza's secret is discovered, we'll face a lot worse than mere damage. There's nothing wrong with persisting until the last possible second tomorrow. If we're able to make it through safely, we won't have to lose anything. There's no need to get impatient and use that trump card. Want to wait until after they start clambering about how we've locked Father up and then say he's gone missing? They will invite much more suspicion. I just put Father to rest now. To go any further will be impossible. Calm yourself. Being exposed to Eva and the others' venom too much has made you lost your composure, that's all. Only 2 keys exist that can let anyone into the study, and you have both of them right here. It means no one can go inside. That door is of a very special make. No matter what kind of tools they bring out to the storage room, it won't even budge. It isn't a physical problem like that. Please don't be hasty and calm down. In any event, you can pretend to have gotten a fever and stay in bed. In the meantime, I will overcome all of this for you. I can't leave anything to you. I'll fight until the end too. Voilà, c'est la fin des haricots pour eux. C'est pour ça qu'ils vont prendre les armes. When Natsui could no longer hold back the tears brought on by her fierce emotion, Cross held her gently. Just how long has it been since the last time she had felt the warmth of her husband's compassion? Your headache must be awful, yes? It's always that way when you wrinkle your forehead like that. Dear. She had come to think that her husband could never guess the way she felt. But at times like this... Let's wait for the very last moment before using your disappearance trump card. It's like a last resort treasured word. It's best when it's remaining in this sheet. The important thing is that you're ready to pull it out at any time, right? I understand that. Would you let me handle that trump card? Of course, at the final moment, I will take all of the responsibility. I won't get you and Jessica involved. What do you mean by that? And though sure my family is destroyed, is it enough that I alone am crushed in the rubbles? When the typhoon passes, let's make sure we're ready to file for divorce. I will sign the papers and let you hold on to them. I've secretly left some of my assets in your name. If you add on some compensation money, it should be enough for you and Jessica to live on without any hindrance. Oh, Shimmery Netsu is the name that shall be engraved on my tombstone. Please let me be with you until the last moment. Merci Lazir. Je repasse après si vous êtes encore dans le coin. Vous êtes en train de jouer? Bah je vous rejoins dans pas longtemps. Si vous continuez. Even if it turns out that you're the last head of the Shumria family, please let Natsu repeat the name of the wife of the final head, your wife. Rose's existence was founded solely upon the trust and power of his assets as a financial fixer. If either of those weakened, nothing will remain. If they use the trump card of Kinzo's disappearance, they will lose one of the 2 essential supports. It was like offering your right arm in exchange for your neck being cut. It was probably better than losing your head, but you still might die from the blood loss. And even on the off chance that you did survive, you'd have to bear a heavy wound that would heal for the rest of your life. Très belle OST. Cross was prepared even for this. Understanding this, Natsui buried her face in Cross's chest and cried. My apologies for interrupting. The sudden appearance of Genji's volume made Natsui jump back and hurriedly wiped the tears from her eye. Pardon. Cross stood in front of Natsui, shielding her. Ah, Genji-san, please don't sneak up on us. Do you have some business? Yes, my apologies, but I have something to report to Madam. To me? Dear. I don't mind. Cross left Natsui's side, went to a window a short ways off, and gazed at the windley and rainy rose garden. Natsui went with Genji to a place a short distance away. What is it? Well, the truth is another phone call has come for you, madam. At that moment, a sudden eerie sound surprised her. It was the large clock in the hall announcing midnight. You don't mean that man again? Yes. What is to be done? Did you say it was business he had with me? I can give you no answer on that matter. He kept insisting that he wanted to speak to you directly. Again, a phone call from the man who claimed to be taking revenge for something that happened 19 years ago. 19 years ago. It was just 1 year before Jessica and Butler were born. In Natsui's eyes, the gap between 19 years old and 18 years ago was immense. For a long time, she had been unable to fulfill her role of creating a successor for the Ushumiya family and had been treated very coldly. But then she finally gave birth to Jessica and became able to call herself the Ushumiya successor's wife with her head held high. So in her eyes, Ushurumi and Natsui began 18 years ago. That's why everything before that, including the events of 19 years ago, contained nothing but hateful memories. And something from the last year of that hateful period is whispering vengeful words from the other end of the phones. I can still hear the roar of the sea. What is it to be done? Transfer it to my room. Don't let my husband know. As you wish. From the very beginning, Genji has guessed that she wouldn't want Cross hearing about this phone call. That's why he had to tell Natsui covertly. Natsui ordered that he transfer the call, told Cross that she would turn it for the night, and left at a quick pace. She returned to her room and locked the door. There was nothing peculiar about that. In the Oshima family, hallways are like public roads. There's no special meaning in locking the door when you enter your own room. This is what she told herself. When I thought it has been waiting for her, the telephone rang. Genji had probably transferred the call. She took a deep breath, read it herself, and picked up the receiver. Hello? Again, it started with silence. She realized that the person at the other end was trying to irritate her and make her feel uncomfortable, and she got angry. Why are you silent? I'm hanging up. Do not hang up, mother. I want to hear your voice a little longer. Again, that unpleasant voice. Are you trying to mock me? Tell me what you want. I want to play with you, mother. What? What are you talking about? I have not desired to play with you. You are tired from the family conference, right? Is that chronic headache of yours getting to be a pain? That's none of your business. Just the fact that he knew her headache was troubling her made her shiver her up and spin. You get headache because your head is all stiff. If you go straight to bed like that, you cannot expect to have good dreams. I want to tell you that none of your business. I'm hanging up. Natsui forcefully yelled that she was hanging up, but in actuality she couldn't. After all, being that the receiving end of the phone call was much better than the alternative. If she hung up violently, this person might then call someone else. Let us play a game to help you relax. I will not take up much of your time. I have no intention of playing with you. Your name is Natsui, mother. Meet at the kanji for a season in it. Pretty nice name. However, just because your name is Natsui, that does not necessarily mean you like summer. Which season do you really like, mother? You think I'd tell you? If you do not, I will hang up. Is that alright? It was clearly a threat. It meant that if she forced him to hang up the phone, anything might happen. Humiliated that she was forced to give in to a threat made by a man whose name she didn't even know, she gave him the answer he wanted. It's autumn. Why? Because it's an easy season to pass the time in. There's no other reason in particular. Are you satisfied now? Yeah, I'm satisfied. So it looks like your favorite season really is the same as mine. I like autumn too. Liar, you just made that up. Surely this man wouldn't have done the same thing no matter which season I said I liked. What is he after? What's so fun about making me uncomfortable like this? Is that nice to call someone a liar? I'm not making it up. I already knew you liked autumn, mother. There is even proof. Proof? Yeah? Is there a clock in your room, mother? Clock? Yes, there is, but what's your point? In Natsui's room, there was a beautiful antique clock with an intricate design. Cross had bought it for her as a birthday present long ago. It's midnight 7 right now. I'm tired, so please get this farce over with quickly. Try lifting your clock up. Why? You really don't know when to shut up. Stop resisting every single time I say something. Just shut up and do what I say. Wow. The tone of the man's voice suddenly went low, turning into a threat. It made his displeasure clear. At first, this man seemed to have a calm way of speaking, but on the inside, that wasn't the case at all. If she enraged this man even a little more, he would surely show his true nature right away. Are you really that eager to make me hang up? Things are best when I talk to the phone with you. I could tell your husband and daughter about what happened 19 years ago anytime I want to. I don't know what you're talking about, but please don't put my husband and daughter involved. I'm listening to everything you say. Then just do what you are told. Once again the man threatened her in a low voice. I saw warning her to not to interrupt again. My head was filled with the pain from my headache, the sound of my beating heart, and the roar of the sea. I couldn't disobey him anymore. At the man had order, I lifted up the antique clock. There lay what appeared to be a single playing card. Is it a warranty for the clock? Thinking this, she took it and turned it over. Are you wide awake now? Haha. What? Why? Why is this here? Why, it will please me if your headache has gone down a bit. Tell me that you are happy, mother. How did you? Why? How? I won't hear you say so. You are happy, murderer. How dare you act like a normal, neat freak mother? You make me want to vomit. Do you want that to land on your husband and daughter as well? You don't, right? You want me to keep quiet, don't you? Yeah, I'll keep quiet. Come on. Aren't you happy? Aren't you? Oh, I'm happy. So please stop. Don't bring my husband and daughter into this. What is it you want? Money? How much? I do not want money. My wounds could not be healed with any amount of money. But there is a medicine. That is right. It's like a kind of ointment. Thick, syrupy and dribbling. And that is my hatred. My resentment towards you. Flattering myself with that in the only way to call back the pain. C'est lunaire. Natsue had never had anything so hateful said to her in her entire life, so she suspected many times that she must be having some sort of bad dream. However, this definitely wasn't a dream. You couldn't possibly be on this island right now, are you? I am. Did I not promise you? I said I would be at the family conference. C'est pas possible, c'est impossible. À un moment, faut arrêter de se foutre de ma gueule, quoi. There's no way you could have come during this typhoon. There would be no problem if I came before the typhoon reached here. And I'm pretty sure this gets called Erika or whatever, even during the typhoon. My blood froze. Weirdo Erika has supposedly been brought here by coincidence. If he knew that name, he would have to be very close by. Where are you? I will not appear in front of anyone until you introduce me. Do not worry. Oh yes, it is useless to try and search for me. Your mansion is huge, and you have no shortage of phones I could be calling from. Besides, I'm sure you don't want to meet me, right? Or else do you want to expose me and introduce me to everyone? Introduce me to Jessica too. Tell her I'm her oldest brother by 1 year. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Il y a un Ushiromi à cacher là. Stop it, stay away from Jessica. I guess I have scared you a bit too much. That is all from me for tonight. But do not forget, you cannot disobey me. Understand, mother? Yes. I'm going to hang on for the night, but I have an order that may be followed until tomorrow morning. What is it? You may no longer leave that room tonight, and you may not make a phone call to anywhere. If a phone call comes for you, you are not allowed to take it. You will turn the lights off right now, get in bed and sleep. Then you will wake up at your ordinary time. It sure is nice to live a healthy life. I really am such a good son, working so hard for the sake of my mother's body. C'est Kirayo Shikage le mec ou quoi là? Je viens des quartiers nord de Morio. Je m'endors à 20 h tous les soirs en buvant un verre de lait frais. Quand je me réveille, je fais 20 pompes. I understand. I'll go to sleep right now. I won't leave my room and I won't pick up the phone. So don't involve my husband and daughter. As long as you follow my orders, I will keep you secret, mother. Do not disobey me. I am already very close by to you. I can easily tell whether you have turned your lights off or whether you are on the phone. If I wished to, I could even kiss your sleeping face. I'll keep my promise. So stop it, just stop it. Stop it! As she screamed, Natsui took the card she had found under the clock and crushed it upon a little ball. It had a pattern on it like a tarot card, and also the kanji for autumn. Oh, 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 oh. Bon, il y a combien de personnes sur cette île, au final? Let's step back in time once again. Une petite save, je continue un petit peu et puis après je vous laisse. Right now it's the exact moment that the large clock in the hall announced midnight. Wondering who the person who knocked twice was, the relative in the dining hall stared at the door. Rudolph told them to come in, but there was no answer. Until the end of that long tone marking the arrival of midnight which has come from the large clock in the hall shortly after the knock, they were unable to move in the slightest. Maybe their hands are full and they can't open it. Maybe, but it's a bit creepy that they won't say their name. Should I open it? Do so. Cannon nodded back, then slowly opened the door. Huh, what's that? It's one of Father's envelope? Right behind the open door on the floor of the hallway lay the envelope. There's no one in the hallway. Perhaps they placed it and left? The adult flew onto the corridor as well, but they couldn't find no trace of anyone who might have knocked on the door. Just about an hour ago, Shannon and Cannon had come in to serve tea. At that time, everyone had seen that nothing lay in the spot. Someone came, knocked, left an envelope with the mark of the one-winged eagle on it, and left. Could it have been the master? It's not unthinkable. He was pretty much the only person in this mansion who would refuse to answer when asked who he was. That's not possible. If that were the case, why wouldn't Father come in here openly? That's right, Father's probably just barged in here without knocking. The doors and windows of this mansion are locked now, right? In that case, the only people who could have conceivably left the letter there are Crow-san, Natsui-san, and Genji-san. By this point, the mansion had been completely locked up. Therefore, the cousins in the guest house, Nanjo, Gora, Kumasawa, and Erika could not have come here. Furthermore, since Crow, Natsui, and Genji were the only three who weren't in this room, one of those three had to have been the one who set that letter down in the corridor, so it was very likely that Cross and the others had placed the letter here to make it seem like a message from Kinzo. I see. I have something written on it that's supposedly in Father's name, saying that he won't accept Battler and the successor or something of the sort. Ridiculous. I can't believe you tried to pull such a shitty trick, Nissan. Oh, it's not like I give a damn about being the successor. Give it up, that's just your fate. Anyway, why don't we read what's inside? Rudolph set the letter on the dining hall table and let everyone see the front and back, so that there was no tricks or hidden mechanism, almost like a magician does before performing his act. Can you be sure this envelope is one of Father's? Yeah, no doubt about it. Fathers like to use this kind of envelope for unwritten letters. What do you think, Chan-chan? Yes, to my eyes as well, it looks like the type of envelope that the master uses. This doesn't mean Father was the only one who wrote it. It would be pitifully easy for Nissan to snatch one of those from a drawer in Father's study. Even Cross-sama wouldn't be able to enter the study easily. It might be hard for him to steal an envelope. Let's try opening it. We can worry about all that later. Feels like there's something in it. I wonder what. Rudolph opened the envelope a bit roughly. Then a folded letter and a glittering object fell out. It was a ring. Huh? Wait a sec, isn't that ring? Ivan noticed it immediately and grabbed at it. This is Father's ring, isn't it? It's the head ring? What in the... Seriously? Are you sure it's father's? Could it be a replica? But this is the real thing. I've always dreamed about wearing this ring on my finger someday. Even though father wore this on his finger, I know more about it than anyone else. It's father's ring, no doubt about it. Why is it here? Does that mean it really was father who wrote this letter? The sender isn't father. It's much more interesting than that. Then who is the letter from? The Ushiyama family alchemist. It's from the Golden Witch Beatrice Sama. We'll have showed everyone the part of the letter where that was written. It really did say that. It's from Beatrice? What's it say? I'll read it. Congratulations. I acknowledge that Battle Sama spectacularly solved the epitaph's riddle and reached the Golden Land. All of the gold belongs to Battle Sama. Furthermore, Battle Sama is the new head of the Ushiyama family. As proof, I sent the head ring, which Kinzo Sama left in my charge. Battle Sama, I beg that you take the ring, become the new master of the gold, and guide the Ushiyama family. I sincerely pray that you flourish as the new head. What the hell? I see, that just won't come out of his study, so Beatrice, the witch of the forest, has acknowledged Battle directly. Battle-kun, you take that ring. It is a special ring to be worn by the family head. I don't know who this Beatrice is, but she watched the whole thing and sent you this ring after acknowledging you as the true successor. Is that okay? It's such an important ring. Yeah, it's fine. You should wear it proudly on your finger. Got it? Even if Aniki and Natsu and Nissan tell you to take it off, you'd better not do it. Ils veulent en faire un pantin, Battler. Battler la fraude, hein. I took this like thing will get pretty nasty if he refused, so Butler reluctantly decided to put it on the middle finger on his left hand. The ring was heavy and stiff. At that moment, Cross returned. Genji came back as well shortly behind him. My apologies, it seems my wife is not as the best, so she'd gone to bed early. Did something happen? He was incredibly flustered. Battle-sama, isn't that... Immediately Genji keenly spotted that which Butler had just put on his finger. So it's pretty good, Genji-san. Looks like you know whose ring it is. What are you talking about? Judging by Cross's dubious expression, it seemed unlikely that he was the one who placed the letter there. Furthermore, that expression quickly changed to one of shock. Hehe, that's alright, it's the Ushiyama family head ring. Family conference took up this new topic, and the storm came once again. Wow. Je pense que je vais m'arrêter là. Moi, je voulais faire une petite session. Je suis content. Je suis pas mal. Je ferai une beaucoup plus grosse session demain. Là, je suis un peu fatigué avec le mardi no reset et tous les machins. Donc bon, on fera une plus grosse session demain pour rattraper. Ça me paraît pas mal d'arrêter ici. Voilà. Bisous YouTube, à demain pour une plus grosse session. Ciao ciao.